Hello, Vlogalogue. How the heck are you? I hope you're doing well. So yes, it seems that other folks do not struggle to the extent, or at least do not seem to struggle to the same extent that I do with seeing yourself as either an analytical or a creative type. That's disquieting. But okay, let's go ahead and move on. Because I want to talk about, and I looked through the history of Vlogalogue topics, because we're getting to the point where we've been around long enough that it is very easy for me to be like, let's talk about this, and then I realize, like, we've already talked about that twice. Granted, we've got new folks, so it's good to hear other opinions, and oftentimes our opinions on certain things can change, which is great. But I looked through, and I discovered that we have not talked about drugs, which I think is... I think it's an important thing to talk about to some extent, and to broaden it out, because I think there are a lot of people that have a lot of different sort of wide opinions on a spectrum of being very, very scared of pills or alcohol or whatever. And then there are people who are like, dude, life hack, take caffeine all the time and your brain works better. So I'm interested to ask people what their thoughts are with regard to various drugs. And I think this kind of runs the gamut from things that we consider to be relatively benign, like caffeine, up to heroin. I don't think that we have any heroin addicts on this channel, but maybe we'll discover something new. In particular, I discovered my own relationship with alcohol is very weird, because it's very easy for me to consume too much alcohol, which is not good. But I have also discovered that there are a lot of benefits to light alcohol consumption, in particular with dealing with my neurological tics, the obnoxiousness. Which are and those are frustrating. It's not just a social thing, like you're constantly having muscle spasms is exhausting. You wake up and your muscles are sore from having twitched all day or whatever. And I find that if I have a depressant, that it tends to be a lot better. That said, if I start consuming too much alcohol, then it becomes a real problem. I get depressed, and yeah, things are not good. But I think a lot of people have very different views as far as anything. There are people who are, if you have a headache, you'll go, okay, I'm going to wait 12 hours. And then if it's still there, then maybe I might think about taking an aspirin. And there are people who say, no, the instant something bad happens, let's go ahead and grab something for it. I think, yeah, this is a broad sort of topic, but I'm interested in sort of people's attitudes toward, I guess, mind-altering substances. Obviously there's the big debate. I don't know if it's an active debate, but about marijuana usage, and I honestly don't know what the attitude is toward marijuana outside of the United States. It'd be interesting to know that. Whether it's just that's something you do, that's just an evening thing, or whether it's, oh gosh, no. I do find it interesting that in the world of legal and kind of social acceptance, caffeine is really big. We have a psychoactive stimulant that's just like totally cool to consume all of the time. We don't have a depressant. There's not, at least I can't think of one, which is not, doesn't necessarily mean that we don't have one, but, alcohol does have major restrictions on it, and there are also, big downsides. When you consume too much alcohol, you are less in control of your own life. When you consume too much caffeine, I don't know, maybe you get a headache or whatever, but it's not a depilatory drug, and I find that, at least for me, consuming alcohol helps to sort of quiet my mind down. Obviously, this is all subjective experience, But it does mitigate my tics to some extent, and it does make me less uncomfortable in social situations, which is weird. Now, I mean, not that that's a standard feature, I guess, of alcohol, but I wouldn't consider myself someone who's like, oh, I need to medicate to deal with people. But I do find that I'm much more social with light alcohol consumption. As soon as I drink too much alcohol, I become the very like, dude, this thing I'm gonna say is like super super important. So I gotta say it. So yeah, there's a very fine line there as far as appropriate dosage for me. But I do find it interesting that there really is not like some sort of over-the-counter, regular, consume every day sort of depressant. If you find that your brain is just super hyper all the time, you're like, I need to kind of tone that down. And even then, there are vitamins and supplements and things like that. Plenty of people take melatonin to try and sleep. Plenty of people take various vitamins and things which have dubious scientific research going into them, but I'm interested to know kind of where people lie on the spectrum of. I mean, it's such a broad subject that I think there are so many different ways that you can attack it. But looking at whether you feel that we need to legalize more stuff, just kind of evaluating things from the legal perspective, or we need to be more restrictive, or socially we need to be more comfortable with people using various supplements and drugs and medications to achieve whatever, to get to that state of normalcy. And there are even people who are scared of caffeine. It's not natural. And then finally, I guess there's the question of your personal preferences of whether or not you are for or against using various substances to try and stabilize or enhance your mental state. Because I think it's a difficult question for everybody, because even limiting ourselves to talking about legal substances, there's a very wide variety of what people will choose to do, where they choose to say, nope, I want to be purely me, or whether they say, I am, I have neurochemical imbalances, and I want to try and use legal means to regulate that. So that is my question for Vlogalogue this week. And I guess tackle any of it that you find particularly interesting, whether you want to talk about your own experiences, or you want to talk about your attitudes as far as policy goes, or kind of whatever. I'm just interested to know, because it feels like a gap in what we have discussed on Vlogalogue so far. So I will look forward to seeing what everyone has to say, and I will see you next week. Bye, Vlogalogue.